Did you?
I'm fixing my Facebook.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. It is Zoe Sol here. Give me just a second. I'm making sure that I am alive. I'm alive. I'm making sure that I'm alive. Well, I'm making sure that I'm live on all my platforms. I've got a few platforms running right now. I have YouTube, I have my personal page, and then I have the Psychicfixes pages. So a couple of just housekeeping things. It's been a while since I've done a live. I have had a lot going on, and I think I mentioned on my private Facebook page just like 10 minutes ago that I was going to be sharing some personal stuff. So I am going to be covering that. Please say hello to me. I can already see people popping up. Hello, Kate. Under the Sea Nursery. What a great name. Hello and welcome. I'm glad that you're here. Oh, thank you. This is Under the Sea Nursery. This is actually a quartz crystal. And I'm sorry, it's a rose quartz. And she is my baby. This little lovely piece right here was a wedding gift, and she's beautiful. Hello, Bianca. Hello, Jessica, Jane. Swoon to you too. So, here's the thing. Tonight, typically what I do is I will cover some sort of witchy topic. And then the second half hour, I will go into readings. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to kind of give you all an update on what's been going on with my life. There has been a lot going on astrologically, so we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then I'm going to go into readings. So if you guys have questions, please feel free to comment. Whatever platform you're using, just comment right there. If I don't see the comments right away, just give it a minute because sometimes there's a delay since I'm using multiple platforms. Also, I will announce when I'm ready to start doing readings. So just hang tight. I will get to readings. I am going to talk a little bit. So obviously, for all of us, we're kind of in this weird place of coming out of this pandemic. And then there was a supermoon, and then there was a new moon, and then there was a strawberry moon, and then there was an eclipse. And there's been all of this kind of crazy, chaotic energy that's been happening right now. Howdy, Candy, glad to see you here. So I've been feeling it, like a lot. And I don't know, raise your hand if you've been feeling this energy, because it's been really intense. And the vulnerable part that I want to talk about, hello, Carlos, I'm glad to see that you're here, is that, Under the Sea, you're Phoenix. Hello, Phoenix. Well, welcome. I will call you Phoenix. I've been wrestling with a lot of emotions lately, and I am actually 30 minutes late. Normally, I do this feed at 8 o'clock, and I had a huge gap because I was working another job. There was a lot going on. I had our big event, House of Map, happening, and I was actually at my partner Daly's house, and we were hanging out, and then I was like, oh, crap. I have my live feed tonight, so I rushed home to get here, but that is why I'm late. And it kind of all topples into this feeling. I don't know if you guys have been feeling this lately, but I realize right now I am feeling, it's hard to say this, it's actually really hard to say this publicly, but I'm kind of feeling like a failure in a lot of ways. I know that's rationally, that's dumb. I know that I'm not a failure. So before you say, no, you're not a failure, like I know this, but I want to talk about emotions, right? Because one of the things that I preach a lot to people that I work with, but it's actually really, really hard for me to internalize, is the fact that like emotions are not facts, and sometimes we just have to like give space for ourselves to feel these emotions. And so kind of is, earlier on at the pandemic, when the pandemic hit, my dear friend and I started our business, House of the Wildling, and House of the Wildling is still around, and it's still, we're still doing magic, but my partner got really ill during that time. And so I was trying to run the business on my own, but I realized it was really hard, and I kind of couldn't. Like, I really needed her support and her help. So we kind of were like, okay, let's just focus on you getting healthy and well. And I will wrap up, at the time we were doing a fairy course, I'll wrap up that course, and and then we'll move on from there. And then, you know, and then I needed work. So I got this job. You guys, I got this job at a freaking water park where I had to wear khakis. I wasn't allowed to have tattoos or piercings, so I had to cover my piercings, cover my tattoos. And, you know, I was like, okay, well, this is just a temporary thing. The pay was well. And I just kind of was like, this is, you know, sometimes we just have to do shit that we don't want to do to make things happen and make things work. And so that, you know, I've had that job for like a month and a half. And then just yesterday, gosh, was it yesterday? Wow, it just happened. They let the whole entertainment team go. So that included me. So I lost my job yesterday. And I feel like, I don't know if you guys have felt this before, I'm sure you have, but I just feel like I am bumping into walls. And I'm feeling very frustrated because I feel a little bit of anger with the universe right now. Like, I'm trying all of these things. I want to pursue my passions. I want to pursue the things that I love. And it just seems like it's failing, like it's not working. And I'm emotional right now. Because the reality is like, I have never been a person to just like take a normal job. I've done many normal jobs in my life. And I'm just so ready to be done with that. You know, I am ready to like move into this next chapter where I am creating art full time and I am, you know, building my business full time. And the universe has kind of been like, put a big halt on it and is like, no, you're not going to move forward. And I think that, you know, being somebody who believes deeply in manifestation and the power of manifestation, and being somebody who's been able to manifest really quickly things that I want, it feels a little bit like a slap in the face right now. And hello, Sarah. Hello, Jackie. It's good to see you all. So I'm just feeling this little bit of a slap in the face, and I'm presented with an opportunity to take back, you know, the job that I had before the pandemic, and it's a great job, but it feels like the universe is just shifting everything around, and we are really being called to kind of get really, really clear about what we actually want. And then when we want it, it's not necessarily going to happen right away. And that's the part that's really frustrating for me, because I want it to happen right away. And when it doesn't happen right away, I feel like somehow that means that I'm failing. And I know that that isn't true. I know that right now we are all emerging from really a collective trauma with everything that's happened with the pandemic and everything that's happening on a global scale, from, you know, the pandemic, obviously, but then also just, you know, like how the last few years have been with our elections and our old president and racial tensions and religious tensions. And there's just a lot happening. And I have very much been feeling like I am having that time to go into quarantine gave me a lot of time to self-reflect and look at my life and ask myself, what is it that I really want? And I feel like in a lot of ways I got very clear on that. And now I'm being thrust back out into the world, and the world is kind of knocking up against those things, asking me, because one of the things that I became very clear with was I don't want to be in the rat race that I was in before, meaning like I was so busy all the time and so exhausted all the time and running around all the time, and having that time to slow down. I want to live in a life where I have time for myself, I have time for my loved ones, and I don't have to just go. And now it's like I feel like I'm being thrust back into that, and I have to like take a step back and get really, you know, be really really firm with my boundaries. And so I know I'm not the only one feeling this. I know just from talking to people that we're all kind of like, do we want to go back to our old life? What life do we want to go back to? What life do we want to manifest? What is it that we actually want? And being a magical person, it's sometimes feels like you should, don't you love that word? You should be able to just like manifest on a whim. do a spell, make it happen, visualize it, and it happens. And sometimes it works like that, and sometimes it doesn't. And what I'm realizing is that the things that are worth working for are those things that you have to, or the things that are worth having are those things that you have to work for. And I'm feeling that, I'm feeling that, again, like just that feeling of like having to really set boundaries. And so I don't know, I'm curious how you all are feeling right now, how you're feeling energetically with everything that's going on in the universe. So for today, what I want to do is I would like to do a card reading on kind of what's happening universally. And then I want to go ahead and give you all readings for the rest of our time, okay? I am going to ask if you can, please shoot me a tip. It will help. As I mentioned, just lost my job and looking for a little additional income. So there it is. I just put it in the chat box. If you want to send a tip my way, that will totally help me out. Also, if you want a personal reading, I do one-on-one readings. So please reach out to me if that is something that you want. So let's go ahead and just pull a card and kind of see like what is going on in the universe. Okay, here we go. So, the first card, oh wow, okay, the first card that's showing up right now is the Green Man. And whenever the Green Man shows up, it's his time right now. We are in the time of the Green Man. So it's that fertile energy, right? It's the energy of growth. It's the energy of things happening. It is the energy of manifestation. But something that I'm actually noticing for the very first time, I've never noticed in this card, is that I'm noticing that here he's very, very green and you've got all this green foliage, and yet here in the corners, you've got some berries, but then right here, you've got some leaves that are actually turning. They're starting to turn the colors of fall. And I think that it's very poignant that I'm seeing this right now, because what that is telling me is that it's also time to allow certain aspects of our life to die and fall off. So it's like those parts that aren't working, let them die and wilt and fade away. Kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier, with this water park thing, I knew that was not a good job for me. I was freaking miserable there, you guys, but I was kind of powering through because I was like, okay, I don't want to let go of this right now. This is just temporary. And so I think the universe kind of swooped in and took that from me because it wasn't in alignment with where I'm supposed to be going. So if things seem to be falling away right now, I feel like it's the universe's way of being like, okay, let's pull that from you. We're going to prune this. We're going to allow this to die and fall off. I'm going to go ahead and do another one, and then I'll start pulling cards for you all. Big shifts. Yes. Daily. Hello, my Daily. I just told them I was late because I was seeing you. Oh, I love you so much, Daily. And yes, there is definitely a big shift. Jackie says a huge shift. 100%. Willow, definitely some growing pains abound. 100%. And actually, Willow, you were here for House of Mab. And for those of you that don't know, House of Mab is a dark fantasy ball that we throw here in Austin a couple times a year, and we didn't do it for a couple of years because of the pandemic. We had our first one back just like a week and a half ago, and I had so much fun. Willow performed at that. Willow, you were amazing. And you have the ritualistic burning of the khakis. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that for my next one. We'll do a khaki burning. Oh my gosh. Yes, Kate, you were saying that things are going to get better by fall. I feel that as well. I feel like there's something about this summer energy right now where we're all just going to have to go through a lot of shifts. Okay. I want to pull 3 cards for the energy right now collectively, and then Carlos, I'm going to go ahead and pull your card. So we've got the remembrance, and the remembrance we see here. We've got this fairy here with these piercing blue eyes, and it's sort of like when you look at this card, it just feels like he's kind of piercing through your soul. And what this tells me is like, it's interesting because in the picture, I think you can kind of see it on the camera, but everything's sepia tone, but his eyes are like these piercing ice blue. And it's sort of like being able to see through the illusion of time and go right into the soul, right into the heart of what it is that your soul is longing for and what it is that your soul's path is. And so it's kind of like letting go of the superficial, letting go of what's right on the surface and seeing right through into the heart of desire and into the heart of the manner. So beautiful, beautiful card. And now let's go into one more for the collective energy. Of course, we have the question. And we've got this little boy who is looking upward at this beautiful, like a giant fae creature that is old and wise. And we've got this rainbow that's piercing through, and it's asking, kind of going back into like what the soul is feeling, asking the question of like getting really, really clear on where is it that I'm to go next? Like, and do I actually want to go there? And so like, I am definitely feeling, I don't know about y'all, but I am feeling a lot of questioning right now. Like, I will take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. And that's just what's been going on with me. And so I realize now that I just have a lot of questions about a lot of things. And I want to add that I think sometimes we feel like we need to answer the question right away. But I feel like energetically, instead, what we're being asked to do is to just sit in the question. And that's really uncomfortable because we want answers. Because answers, give us a direction. And right now, there might not be a specific direction. The answer might be just to let yourself be in the question, be in the feelings, and allow it to unfold in its right time. All right. So Jackie says, "Oh, girl, I am going to talk to you." I think I would love working at the haunt. Bianca says there's a shedding of the old skin happening, I agree. I really feel like that's happening with everybody. And Candy says, good things need to stew a while to develop flavor. Yes, ma'am. I think we'll be seeing some of those good things by fall. I feel like that too. I feel like collectively we're all feeling that. Jackie said, hee. Carlos, definitely I want answers about certain issues. Oh, sweetie, so do I. I'm feeling that. So Carlos, let's go ahead and pull a card for you now, okay? And at this point, you guys, I'm going to start pulling cards for each of you individually. So Carlos, let's go. And if you had a question about something specific and you feel comfortable sharing, please let me know in the comments and we'll zero in on that specifically. Otherwise, what I will be doing, Carlos and everybody else watching, is kind of a general reading, and sometimes those readings they'll answer your question to something specific. You'll see how this goes. All right, so Carlos, here we go. Oof, I'm having a hard time shuffling. There we go. Yeah. Carlos, I feel like you've gotten this card before, and yet here we are again. This card is the child. That is my dog barking away. So basically, whenever this card appears, and I kind of want to piggyback off of the question because I feel like they're related, especially considering that you wanted answers. So here we've got this child, and normally when I see this card, I talk about like an innocence, right? Like having a childlike wonder, having a childlike innocence. But in this situation, I am feeling instead what that actually is it's more about being present and being in a state of wonder. Okay, so like if you look at this little Fae right here, he's sitting on his toadstool and he is like totally enamored by this light. It could be a firefly, it could be a fairy, but he is just looking at that light, and nothing is taking his eyes from that light. And he's got this grin on his face, and he just looks like he is in a state of bliss. And so what this is telling me is, rather than, worry your brain about, is this the right answer? Is this the right direction? And let your brain spiral out of control. Instead, the universe is asking you to have this childlike wonder, but more than that, become enamored with the moment. And through becoming enchanted, enamored, I keep hearing the word enamored though, and enamored is like falling in love. And so falling in love with the moment and what is, and the beauty of what is really going to be your way through this time. And sometimes, it's really easy. Sometimes things are going well, but right now, things might not be that easy. And so what he's looking at is this tiny little flicker of light. And so you are being asked to find that little flicker of light in your everyday life. So maybe it's you are sitting down to have a meal, and it is an amazing meal, and you're enjoying the sunset. But it's more about right now connecting with moments and connecting with the beauty and the bigness of the small little moment, and falling in love with that. That's what I'm getting for you. So yes, beautiful card. Okay, Eric, you're saying it's been like the dark night of the soul. I understand this. I've been feeling that too. It's been heavy. It's been really heavy and intense energy. Bianca says, I can never think of a specific question when it happens. I think of it about a week later and it's too late. That's okay, girl. Oh, hello, Eva. I'm so glad to see you here. Jeffrey, the shift has sincerely been an interesting one, but I'm feeling like it's going to be a great outcome for us all in the long run. I agree with you, Jeffrey. Carlos, you said that someone has hurt you. I'm so sorry. So again, kind of going back to that card, I feel like, I'm going to pull another one for you, okay? Here we go. One just fell out, so that's the sign. Two fell out. Okay. All right, you guys, let me get my dog really quick. 1 second. He is going crazy. I'm going to go ahead and pull these back out for you to look at both of them. It's really important that you can just let those sink in. Give me 1 second. And then he usually calms down. Sorry. Little dogs, they're, all right, here we go. So, Carlos, here we go. We have the Elven Knight, and I'm going to talk about this one first. But the Elven Knight, basically, it is interesting that this one comes up, because what you see is he is going through, it's like a cobweb of illusion, right? There's like disillusionment happening, and he has to kind of wade through that. And there is a darkness here, but he's moving through it, and he's got this armor on him, but through the armor, it's like he's leaking this webby kind of energy. And usually it's interesting, because usually when I see this, it's talking about you, the person, but I actually feel like in this situation, it's the other person. And it's sort of like they're kind of in this cloud of disillusionment. And because they're in this cloud, they're actually, they're causing pain and generating pain for those around them. And it might not even be intentional. It's just that there's like, they're not aware. And it's sort of like having a rain cloud following you. And that rain cloud is affecting all of those around you. But then right after that, we get the dreaming. And the dreaming is showing up, and she's got, her eyes closed, and she's kind of looking upward, and she's feeling into her heart and her body. And so this really talks about you stepping away from this energy, right? And like instead of being out there and trying to find your answers and solution out there, closing your eyes and reconnecting with your soul, reconnecting with your dream, reconnecting with kind of going back to that child, reconnecting to that sense of wonder and that sense of like real genuine love that you have for the world and the moments and the beauty that are out there. And so right now is a time for you to, I'm hearing the word healing. It's really a time for you to have self-healing and to kind of like cocoon up and take care of yourself and nurture yourself and find that place again in your heart where you feel love and you feel you can feel magic again. So yes, take that time for yourself, and you will reconnect with that. This energy is not going to last forever. This is fading. This is on its way out, and really, this healing, that's what's happening. That's what's coming in for you. All right, let's see, Jeffy. Oh, okay, Jessica. We're going Jessica first. Jessica, it's okay. Whatever you guys can tip is totally fine. I'm going to go ahead once again and just post the little where you can send your tips. Please, don't feel like you have to tip a ton. It's whatever you can. Every little bit helps. All right, my dear, let's go ahead and pull a card for you. And then once again, you guys, if you have something specific you have a question about, please let me know. Otherwise, this will be a general reading, and it will kind of let you know where you are energetically. Woo! Okay. The Lady of Unicorns. All right, so whenever the Lady of Unicorns shows up, this is talking about miracles. And so it's basically saying like a miracle is on the horizon for you. There is something that you felt like wasn't possible is becoming possible. The doors are opening. But you heard me earlier talking about how she had her eyes closed. That is a really good indicator for me when I look at these cards, if their eyes are closed or open, on whether that is going to come from inside or outside. So when the eyes are open, it generally denotes action, outside things coming in. In this case, her eyes were closed, and oh, this is interesting. I'm seeing things on these cards I haven't noticed before. Her eyes are half closed. Her eyes are actually, if you look at them, and she's kind of doing this, where they're like slightly open and slightly closed. This changes the reading. But basically, this card talks about miracles. And so what this is telling me is that it's that combination of you going inward and having your dream and having your vision, and then opening your eyes just enough to be able to catch and see the possibilities all around you and the potentials all around you. So there is something coming in from the outside that is going to propel that miracle for you, but it starts with the inward vision. And then once you have that inward vision there, just that gentle opening of the eyes, and you'll begin to start to see signs of it out in your world, and then it will allow it to fully manifest. That's so cool. Thanks for getting that card, because now I know something new about it, and that makes me super happy. All right. Let's see. Jeffy, of course I will give you a reading, my friend. I can't shuffle today. Here we go. Let's do this again. By the way, y'all, when I do one-on-one readings, I go into much more depth because these readings are quick and there's a lot of you that come in. It's a lot of energy that I'm kind of bouncing off all at once. And so I can't go as in depth as when we do the one-on-ones. So if you are looking for something that's really in depth, please hit me up and we'll do a one-on-one together. Oh, Jeffy. All right, my dear, you have the Green Woman, which is so interesting because we were just talking about the Green Man that showed up as the collective energy at the top of the hour. And when we go into the Green Woman, it is that energy of manifesting. It's the energy, but as opposed to like the Green Man, which is a masculine energy and it's about action and doing things, the Green Woman is a feminine energy. You can see that she kind of has her head tilted back, and it's a receptive energy. So instead of like moving outward and making things happen, this is the energy of releasing and allowing yourself to receive. So this is really talking about a time for you to let yourself receive gifts, to let the gifts come to you, to let money flow to you, to let love flow to you, to let opportunities and people and everything is kind of flowing towards you right now. And so your job right now is that you don't really have to do a whole lot. You just get to like sit back and really receive. And the trick is that the more that you can let go and surrender into that divine feminine energy, which is the receptive state, the more gifts that are going to come your way. That is a very good card for you, and I'm super happy about that card. All right, folks, let's go. Willow would love to give you a reading. Here we go. I am going to go ahead once again and put my little tips right there in case y'all feel inspired, since I am no longer working at the water park. All right, my dear Willow, you have the Thief. Okay, so whenever this card shows up, it is warning of something that is stealing away your energy or your time, which basically it's kind of the same thing, right? There is somewhere an energetic leak is kind of like how I look at it. So you're giving your time and your attention to something that's not reciprocating. And so whenever the Thief shows up, it's basically asking you to kind of take a step back and review where in your life is there like an energy sink. And you probably have a sense of maybe where it is. It could be a relationship, right? Maybe there's somebody who like you're always the giver and they never reciprocate. Maybe it's a bad habit or a toxic behavior. Maybe it's like, you know, something at your job or a person at work. It can be a person, it could be a habit, it could be an activity that you're engaging in, but really take a moment to like take a step back and reclaim your energy. So whatever that is, knock it off. If it's a person, set boundaries. But this is, you know, asking you to take your power back, take your energy back. And at the end of the day, what this card is really about is it's about boundaries, right? Because thieves, what do? They come and take, but they can't take if you are, you know, aware of them and you see them coming and you're able to set a solid boundary for yourself. So boundaries. See where you're giving away too much and set that boundary, and you're going to feel a lot better because you're going to have that energy back. Sarah, here we go. Oh, okay. All right, Sarah, we have the Heartless Love, which is very interesting because it's kind of like a cousin to the Thief, the one that I just pulled. Basically, the Heartless Love is speaking of, it's different from the Thief, but it's similar. It's speaking of something that you're giving your energy or attention to because of, it's almost like it's out of an obligation. That's what I'm hearing. Like, it's out of obligation, but it's not actually what your soul is desiring or what's feeding your soul. And so it might be time to really look at that. Now, I understand that, you know, if it's something like a job, you can't just like walk out of your job. Or you can, sometimes that works. But like, I understand that, you know, there are things in life that we have obligations towards and you can't just rip it out. But when this card shows up, it's asking you to really take a step back and look at maybe it is time to start pulling that out of your life. Again, it is in relationship to the Thief, the card before, but whereas the Thief is stealing time and energy, this is you're willingly giving it because you feel like you don't really have a choice. In this situation, you're the Heartless Love, right? Like you are giving your time and your attention to something that it doesn't feel right. You can feel it in your body that your heart isn't there anymore. Maybe it was at one point, but it's not anymore, but you don't really know how to get out of it. And the answer is there. You can see that she's kind of stuck in this woods, right? There's these woods all around him. And then off in the distance, there's like this knight in shining armor. But I'm going to warn you, the knight in shining armor is actually kind of a ruse. It's actually more about her getting out on her own. So like, it's really, you know, I'm going far on this reading, but I feel like there's so much to say. It's really more about you being your own champion and you identifying what that is and then having the courage to say no more. I don't want to do this out of obligation. There's more for myself. And then taking the steps to pull yourself out of that situation. Okay. Sarah, thank you. I'm glad you're happy to see me. Okay, here we go. Oh, I got a bunch of people here. Okay, Carlos, I don't have Cash App. Maybe I do. I will have to check. Venmo and PayPal are the ones I usually use. Venmo is the best way for me personally. I really like that, but I can double check. I might have a Cash App. I don't know if I do. I don't really use it, but I will check at the end of the hour here. AJ, welcome. Hello, mate. To be honest, I feel as though a dark shift has occurred in some shape or form in everyone's lives as of recently, and we're all finding ways to better ourselves from the dark outcome of said encounter. Oh, I'm also wearing your shirt, ironically. Oh my gosh, thank you for saying that, and I'm so glad that you're wearing my shirt. I love that shirt. So yeah, no, we are all kind of collectively going through this, and I do feel like it's getting better, but it's not fast, and that's the uncomfortable part. Is that the shift isn't like it's not an overnight fix. There we go, you guys. If you want to tip me, you can send it to PayPal or Venmo. Your tips are really appreciated. As big or as little as they are, all of it's appreciated. Hello, Brandy. It's good to see you. Bianca, my dear, yes, you can have a reading. Here we go. Man, I don't know why I cannot shuffle tonight. It's just not like, it's like impossible. All right, here we go. Oh, the Queen of Owls. All right, so let me go ahead and trim this. The Queen of Owls is about wisdom and dreams. So, and also healing. So the Queen of Owls is really about tuning into your own intuition, and oftentimes it comes in the form of dreams. So I would say right now, Bianca, pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to that dream state. If you're not a person that really dreams, that's okay. Meditations would be really good for you right now. Any kind of meditation to get you kind of into that state so that you can really connect with your intuition. Because when the Queen of Owls shows up, she's basically saying that your spidey sense is on point. And so right now is a great time for you to be practicing any form of divination if you do that. But also to be journaling and to be taking this time right now to envision what you want for your future, because your soul is speaking to you. And so you can use this time to, it's kind of like, you know, sometimes it's like our inner voice is really quiet and there's like all the noise from the outside world and it's really hard to hear it. And then there are other times where like our inner voice or our soul is like really loud and clear and booming. And that is what's happening right now for you. So when that happens, take advantage of it. And you can trust whatever's coming up for you, whatever messages are coming up for you. You can really trust that they are on point. So Queen of Owls, great card. Tune into that intuition of yours. All right, Brandy, you may absolutely have a reading. Okay, Brandy, here we go. So you got the green man, right? And this is, I don't know if you were here at the top of the hour, but basically this was the collective energy, the card that we got for the collective energy. And basically this is really talking about a time of manifestation and growth. But as opposed to the green woman, which Jeffy got earlier, which is about receiving and being, it's that receptive energy. This is a masculine energy. And the masculine energy is moving forward, taking action. So you are being asked right now to take deliberate action to manifest what it is that you want. Something else we talked about is that, you know, here on the edges, you see that he's got, he's got some berries. So that's awesome. Because berries are like blessings and fruit and whatnot. But he's got these leaves that are turning and changing color, which tells me that, you know, not only do you have to take deliberate action, but there are things that are dying in your life. Not big major things, but like little sections of your life that are kind of dying and falling away naturally. So don't cling on to those. Allow them to fade off into the distance. Allow them to die, because the death of those things creates space for new life and new growth. Okay, so let those things die. It might be a little bit painful, but just trust that they're no longer meant for you. There are things in your life that are no longer meant for you, but you know that there is a direction that is meant for you, and the way forward and the way to get there is through your own deliberate action. All right. Jeffy says, it's crazy as it's all been. I feel like it's going to be a positive outcome in the long run. I agree. I totally agree. Jackie is asking, where do you tip? And you can send your tips once again to PayPal or Venmo. All of it is helpful for me. Okay. Oh, Bianca is asking, don't you usually have to blow on the cards when you shuffle them? I can't remember why, but that was, but I remember you doing it every time before. Sometimes, yeah. So thanks for asking. Yeah, I sometimes do it and I sometimes don't. I haven't really been tonight, but I haven't felt the need to. Usually when I'm doing these live readings, it's, when I'm doing the virtual readings, I don't feel it as intensely. It's more when I'm like in front of the person that I tend to blow on them more. But yeah, no, tonight they've been pretty clean and clear. It's more when I'm starting to feel like I'm having a hard time, like I need to shake them up and clean them off. But these babies have been sitting on my altar for a while, and they are so happy to be used right now because it's been a while. So they're pretty clear and pretty charged up. So not feeling that need as much right now. The green woman, you are so damn on point. You're a brat. I love you, Jeffrey. Oh, thank you, Brandy. I am so glad. That's right. We did do a one-on-one reading. So if y'all want a one-on-one reading, please just reach out. And then, oh, thank you, Aoife. I appreciate you shouting out. Jackie, yes, let's give you a reading. Now I'm blowing on them, Bianca, because I'm thinking about it. You got me thinking about it. But, woo! Okay, well, when that happens, I need to pay attention. Oh, wow. Okay, you got 3 cards that just jumped right out. Here we go. First card. So this is, Jackie, this is an intuitive card. And basically, there's a lot of energy, right? You can see all of these like little fae, but these fae are like, they're the fae that are in the earth. These are like mushroom fairies. And so it talks about like lots of energy and lots of chatter kind of all around you. And it's kind of like you're really busy all of a sudden. Like I'm just feeling like all of this energy coming at you in all these directions. And it's not overwhelming. It might actually be a little bit exciting. The energy feels like a party. Like when you walk into the room and it's bustling and it's fun and it's exciting. And that's like what the energy around you right now feels like. And then we get into the star of the night, the green man. And so I talked about this card multiple times tonight, but basically, once again, for you, it's like, okay, there's lots of energy, there's lots of opportunities for, I'm getting like relationships, and I'm also getting like maybe career opportunities, but there's these there's these different connections that are being made. And so the green man is coming in to say, okay, there's all these opportunities, but let's be really clear and deliberate on what it is that you specifically want to be manifesting right now. Okay, so this is and this leads into like the next one, which I'm so excited for you. But yeah, just get really clear and deliberate on what it is that you want. And you know, you don't have time for all these people as much as you would love to, like, you know, have time for everybody. You don't. You only have a finite amount of energy. So you've got to like be really clear on, yes, I want this, and no, I don't want that, but yes, I want this, but I'm not manifesting that. Okay? Once you get clear on that, we have the Star Fairy. The Star Fairy. This is such a great card. This is one of like the angelic cards, and whenever these types of cards come into a reading, it's basically like it's been divinely anointed, meaning that once you make that, it's sort of like a contract is signed and it is happening. The manifestation is happening, and so it's like, for lack of a better word, it's being blessed, right? Whatever that vision is for you, it is being blessed. And the Star Fairy also speaks of, there's a bit of like presentation and showing out in the world, right? You think of like, what is a rock star? And it's somebody who is like out there and visual. And so the Star Fairy also talks about that, of you being a light and being very present in the community. You are being seen. It's sort of like, I'm hearing achievement. So there's something being achieved and you're being like acknowledged and seen for your gifts and your talents. Okay. Oh, by the way, you guys, I am going to show this just for a second. This person right here, that's a troll. So we're hide him and block him, and get people who like to pop on and offer individual readings, and they'll be like, you know, you need to message me privately, and don't give them your money. Don't give them your money. These people are not to be trusted. They're trolls, and we're gonna just get rid of them. Basically, if anyone comes on to these lives and are asking to message you privately, be wary, unless of course you know them. That's a different situation, but yes. Oh, he is just all over here. Okay. Okay. Candy says, inspiration and insight is what I'm here for. I'm feeling inspired. Thank you. I'm so glad, Candy. Love this. This gave me chills. Yay! Oh, thank you, my love, Zeph. Carlos, you were asking earlier if I have a Cash App. Apparently I do. Or maybe I do now, because I have an amazing husband who helps me with this technical stuff. But there you go. There's the Cash App. Okay. Catherine, oh, I'm so glad that Debbie sent you. I love Debbie. I am happy to give you a reading. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a card for you, and let's see what it says. Oh, okay, it's this one. She was just, jumping out. Ooh, okay. Catherine, you have the Crone. All right, so the Crone, this is such an interesting card, because it's like you've got this Crone, and the Crone is that older, wise energy, and she has this like kind of like smirk, and she's a little bit scary looking. And actually, if you turn it upside down, there's another face here. And so when this card shows up, it's basically asking you to use your wisdom, and that wisdom is wisdom that comes from experience. So there is some aspect in your life right now that is asking you to tap into your experience And through tapping into that, you intuitively know what the proper action is. It is also asking you to kind of look at many sides of the situation. There's multiple faces in this card. So it's asking you to not just take things at face value, but to be willing to kind of flip the other side or like look from the other direction to see what the truth of it is. And so there's a little bit of like deciphering that you have to do, but you're completely capable of doing it because the crone energy, it's that old wise energy. It's she who's lived a long life and is using that experience and wisdom to propel her forward. So you have the experience, you have the knowledge. It is going to take a little bit of deciphering, but once you're able to kind of navigate through that, you will have your answer. There is a pearl right here. The pearl denotes a blessing or a gift that's coming your way. And it is it's through using that wisdom that is there. So trust your wisdom, trust your knowledge. You actually have a lot of knowledge. Use that knowledge, use that experience, use that wisdom to kind of flip things around and see it from many different angles and then move. So don't move right away. Instead, take a moment, decipher what's really going on, and then from that place move. And when you move and when you take action from that place, blessings and gifts will follow. Okay, Kristen, yes, you may have a card. Brandy, I did, by the way, I did do your reading. This is recorded, so you can always go back to my YouTube and find your reading. I feel like, I mean, I've done so many at this point, I can't remember exactly which one is yours, but I will go ahead. I'm going to do other people's readings, and if I have time, I will circle around and give you another one, but I might not. If that happens, though, Brandy, please go back and rewatch it. You should be able to find your reading that way. All right, Kristen. Oh, the Fairy of Youth. How funny. So I just pulled the crone, and now I've got the Fairy of Youth, which is sort of like the other side of that, right? And so the Fairy of Youth. Here we've got this pixie that's sitting on a toadstool, and she's got this like devilish grin, but she's kind of like mischievous and playful. So it is talking about tuning in and tapping into like a playful energy and that youthful energy. And so I am almost feeling like there's been maybe like a period of time where things have maybe felt a little stagnant or maybe dull is like the word that I'm getting. And so she's coming in to shake things up. But really, when I say she, I'm talking about you. This is actually about you tapping into your playful, mischievous energy and bringing that energy out into your interactions in the world. And by you bringing those interactions out into the world, the funny thing is you're going to come across solutions that you wouldn't have thought of otherwise. So this is literally the opposite of the crone, where the crone energy is all about like using experience and wisdom and knowledge and not taking action right away. This is like, your solutions are actually going to come through play and through that mischievous spirit. And it's not going to come from here. It's going to come like from here, from this like joyful heart energy, this like, yeah. So go out and play and have fun, and then your answers will start to arise. Emily, yes, you may have a reading. I'm going to go ahead and everybody, once again, if you feel so inclined, please send a tip. I definitely, it definitely helps. Any little bit helps. Here we go. All right, Emily. Okay, so you have the shapeshifter. And whenever I get this card, I like to ask, is this you? Is this the person that the card is for? Or is this somebody else in your life? And I'm actually getting that, this is somebody else in your life. So whenever this shows up as somebody else, it's basically saying that there's somebody coming in your life, or maybe they are in your life, where they're presenting as one thing, but they might actually be something else. this can go both good and bad directions. So usually when we think of that, we think of someone who's being deceitful, like, oh, they're presenting as a friend, but really, maybe they have some shady underlying things. But that's not always necessarily true. It can also be the other way. It could be that someone is showing up as maybe like, antagonizing or difficult, when in reality, they might end up being exactly who you need to help you move forward in your life. So there's somebody that is like, and I'm getting that they're like pretty kind of prominent, where they're kind of right there in your mind. And so the shapeshifter is saying that they basically, they have the ability to kind of shape and morph and be many things, but they're not what they seem. And again, don't assume that that's bad. It could actually be really positive. It's just asking you to like take a second look and don't assume. All right. When this, I just want to go ahead and say this, when this actually applies to you, this is talking about your ability to adapt and be very adaptable and to kind of change who you are in situations, which is a skill. That's not a bad thing, but sometimes depending on the cards that may follow or that may have come before, it might be a good thing to like look at whether or not that's harming or benefiting you, and only you know that. So shapeshifter energy is a really interesting energy when it shows up, because it can be good or bad. It's a skill, and it's all in how that skill is being used and showing up in your life. So have a look at that and see where you're seeing that. All right. Sarah, I'm so glad. All right, Wadikwani, yes, you may absolutely have a reading. Okay, I know I didn't shuffle them well enough because I got the shapeshifter. I just read that card. If that applies to you, then that was your card, but I am going to pull another one because I feel like I just need to do a better shuffle. Okay. Ah, beautiful. So somebody else got this card earlier. All right, so here's the deal. When the green woman shows up, she is talking about this beautiful energy of growth and manifesting. And she is really, it's from the feminine place, right? And by the way, everybody, when I talk about feminine and masculine, this has nothing to do with gender. This has to do with energy. So feminine energy is receptive. It's the energy of allowing. It's the energy of receiving. Masculine energy is the energy of action. It's forward momentum. It's the energy of doing. It's the energy of giving. So here we are in this beautiful feminine energy of growth. And so it is basically saying that right now, rather than try to force anything, the better answer is to sink and drop into yourself and drop into your power. And by sinking and dropping into your power, you'll find that things start coming your way. It's receptive energy. So you get to kind of take this time right now to just breathe and rest and relax and feel your power. And in that space, you'll start to find that opportunities present themselves. Things come your way, relationships are formed, and things, I love the green woman energy. It is like what I strive for. It is in that state of flow, and it's effortless. So it's a time whenever she shows up, you're being blessed in this time. But if you don't receive the blessing and instead you try to force things and make things happen, the opposite happens, and things start to feel really hard. So if things are feeling hard for you right now, drop into this energy and just watch how everything shifts. Oh, I just totally. Okay, Jennifer, I am happy to give you a reading. Okay, Katrina, good night. It's 3:30 a.m. where you are, so I totally understand. Go sleep. Sleep and dream. Thank you for popping in. All right, Jennifer. Oh, this is a good card. All right, so we've got this beautiful little unicorn, and she is coyly kicking her leg up, and there on her foot she has this beautiful crystal. And okay, and her eyes are kind of halfway open, and she's got a grin. So this is an intuitive card, and when this card appears, it's basically asking me to intuit what it means for you. So let's have a look. There are all of these little fae all around, and they're all holding things in their hand. They're all holding these gifts. And it's sort of like right now, you're surrounded by all of these energies that are like offering you things. Like, is it this? Do you want this? Is it you want that? And you are kind of like basking in that. Like, it's a fun energy to have, like all of these options and opportunities. But it's sort of like, she knows exactly what she wants, and she can kind of be like, yeah, that's nice, but that's not really it. And so she's kind of looking forward into the future and seeing into the future her vision and her dream. She looks a lot like the Lady of Unicorns, which was pulled earlier, and the Lady of Unicorns is all about miracles. But rather than with the Lady of Unicorns, where miracles are happening to her, she's making the miracle happen. There's one crystal on her foot. So it's like you are right now, you're focused on something. You know what it is that you want. You know also that you can easily get distracted by all of these other things, but you're clear that those are not the things that you want. You're wanting this, like you know what it is. And she is saying, yes, stick with that energy, keep moving forward. Remember, like, have a very clear, focused vision, and don't let yourself get distracted. And as long as you stay on that path, you are going to manifest exactly what it is that you're going after. So yeah, you're like a focused woman right now. So use that energy. It is very powerful. Oh, Jackie, the live is lagging. I'm sorry to hear. Is the live lagging for the rest of you? Please let me know if that is the case. I know sometimes we have issues with that technology. All right. Okay, Beth, I'm happy to give you a card. Let's see, Beth, what's coming up for you. Okay, Beth. So what I have here is the Lady of Sorrows. And basically, this is talking about a time of grief for you, okay? And here's the thing, like, sorrow is not bad. Grief is not bad. Basically, she's showing up, and there's a lot of energy going on right now. So here in this Lady of Sorrows, we've got a few things happening. We've got, again, this kind of unicorn fae, which is down here at the bottom, and she's got her head tilted to the side, and it's sort of like she's contemplative, and she's thinking, and she's reflective. And then you've got like these spirits that are wisping up from the side. And when I see this, it makes me think of guardians or spirit guides that are working directly with you to help you through whatever this time of sorrow is for you. And here we've got this fae, and he's holding this orb. And so what that means is that there's a blessing here, right? There is a blessing right now that your guides are bestowing upon you, and they see your grief. They see that you have this sorrow, and they have this blessing and this gift for you, and it can only come through the grief and through the sorrow. And I know that's like hard to hear, but basically it's saying, you know, rather than try to change it or fix it, give yourself permission to feel it and be with it, and know and trust that spirit is around, just enveloping you in this protection and holding you through this process. And at the end of it, there's a gift that's coming your way. And I'm even hearing that it's tangible, like it's going to be, sometimes, yes, there's spiritual gifts that are coming your way, but I'm actually getting that like there's an actual physical gift that's coming your way. So that's exciting to know. And, you know, again, like this is just a necessary part of life. And through allowing yourself to feel and be with it, you are actually becoming like a more wholly integrated human being. So there you go, Lady of Sorrows. It is a beautiful card. It might be a challenging time, but it is a time of growth. And you are very, very loved. You are very watched over through this. Okay. Hi, Bree. It's so good to see you. Hello, Heather. It's good to see you too. Okay. So I'm glad that it's not lagging for you, Sarah. And it looks like the lagging is off and on for the individual people. But okay, well, hopefully it's not too bad. Earth Spirit, good to see you. Me and the Coven are doing great. Thank you for asking. So you all, it is the end of the hour. I'm going to go ahead and end the hour. Once again, if you all feel like you want an in-depth reading, please reach out to me. I am giving these readings. Bree, you know all about it, but I just told them earlier at the top of the hour that I lost my job at the water park wearing my khakis. And so, I am providing readings to help pay them bills, because we got to pay them. But also I love giving readings. So once again, you guys, if you want to tip me for the readings that I did tonight, please don't be shy. And don't feel like it has to be a lot. I know that sometimes people are like, oh, I don't have much money, or I can't give you very much. That's okay. Like, seriously, every little bit helps. So I'm going to go ahead and end the hour by doing a reading for the week. So let's go ahead and pull a card for what is happening in the energy of the week. And of course, I am having issues with the shuffling, because that's been the theme of the night. All right, everybody put your juju on here. Let's go ahead and pull them. This is one of my favorite cards, the Hope. Let's talk about this card. Okay, so here you have this beautiful fairy, and she is down, and she's holding her leg, and you can feel that there's, it might feel like she's in the darkness. It feels like things are heavy right now. Things are kind of like what I was talking about earlier, in the show, is that things just feel really heavy and kind of dark and a little bit hopeless. But the thing about the hope is it's always right there. So the hope is signified in this card by this pixie right here, this little beam of light. And it's always there. It never left. She can't see it right now because her head is turned. So whenever I see this card, it's basically letting all of us know that all it is a shift in perspective, right? Like, all she needs to do is just lift her head up and look up. And there it is. There's the light again. And so this card is showing up for all of us to say that if we are in that state of, I'm emotional. I'm just emotional today. If we are in that state of feeling like, we are kind of stuck in our own darkness. Someone said the dark night of the soul. To remember that even in that state, the light is always there. And even if we don't have the strength to lift our head up and look upwards to see the light, just knowing that it's always there can be a deep source of comfort. So there's always hope. The hope is always right there. And by just, tilting your head and looking upwards, you can see the light. It never left. All right. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Next week, I will be back at the 8 o'clock time, and I will continue on with my witchy topics. And until then, have a beautiful week and blessed be. Mwah.